A monumental shift has occurred within the British monarchy, one that could mark the end of an era for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. In a move that stunned the royal world, King Charles has officially legalized the transfer of the Sussex title, handing it over to none other than Lady Louise Windsor, the Queen's granddaughter. The news hit hard, both for those who had supported the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's departure from royal duties, and those who have been staunch defenders of the monarchy's traditions. This decision, though seemingly an administrative adjustment, carries far-reaching implications for the future of the royal family. But what does it truly mean for Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and their standing in the royal fold? More importantly, could this legal change signal a closing chapter for the couple's royal journey? When Harry and Meghan decided to step back from their royal roles in 2020, it was already clear that their relationship with the family would never be the same. The decision was met with a flurry of media coverage, public reactions, and speculation. At the heart of the departure was the couple's desire for more control over their lives and their public image, away from the watchful eyes of the royal institution. But even as they embarked on a new life across the Atlantic, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have continued to attract both admiration and criticism in equal measure. In the years that followed, from their high-profile Oprah interview to their Netflix series and beyond, they have kept the public guessing about their intentions, their future in the royal family, and their evolving identities as non-working royals. Yet despite their best efforts to build an independent, new life, the ties to their royal origins remain strong, deeply woven into the fabric of their existence. Titles, like family legacies, do not simply fade away. And so, as the monarchy adapts to the changing times under King Charles's leadership, the question of who holds the Sussex title and how it is passed down has finally been addressed. The legalities surrounding this transfer have sparked a fresh wave of controversy, speculation, and even disappointment for some royal watchers who were hoping for a softer resolution to the ongoing saga between the family and the Sussexes. At the center of this storm is Lady Louise Windsor, daughter of Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex. A relatively low-profile royal figure, Lady Louise has remained mostly out of the limelight, known for her intelligence, grace, and distinct distance from the ongoing dramas of her more famous cousins. But with King Charles's recent decision to legalize the transfer of the Sussex title to her, everything is changing for the young royal. What does it mean for her to inherit this responsibility? Is this simply a matter of titles being passed on, or is there something deeper at play in this reorganization of royal titles? The weight of the decision cannot be understated. The royal family is, at its core, a deeply traditional institution bound by centuries of rules and expectations. And with the death of Queen Elizabeth II and the ascension of King Charles, there has been a noticeable shift in how these traditions are being interpreted and enforced. Many wonder if this is a symbolic gesture of closure on the part of King Charles, a final severing of the ties between the Sussexes and the institution they once called home. After all, the Sussex title was granted to Harry and Meghan upon their marriage, but it was always tied to the royal family's approval. Now that approval is being revoked, and Lady Louise is stepping into a role that had once been set aside for Harry and Meghan's children, the stakes are high for everyone involved. Prince Harry, who had once been second in line to the throne, has faced numerous challenges in his relationship with the monarchy. His emotional journey has been laid bare for the public to scrutinize, from his troubled upbringing in the shadow of Princess Diana's death to his growing disillusionment with the royal machine. Now, as his family's name is passed to another, many wonder if he will react with bitterness, relief, or perhaps a complicated mixture of both. Meghan Markle, too, has been a lightning rod for public discourse. Since her entrance into the royal family, she has often found herself at odds with the expectations placed upon her. Critics have questioned her motives and criticized her public appearances, while supporters have championed her for standing up for her beliefs. The decision to relinquish the Sussex title is yet another chapter in their complicated narrative, raising questions about her future role, both within the royal family and outside of it. Will the Duchess, often seen as the driving force behind the couple's public persona, accept this shift in their titles with grace, or will it signal the end of her connection to the monarchy? As this drama unfolds, it becomes clear that the decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor carries deep significance, not just for the royal family, but for the broader narrative of monarchy and identity in the modern era. The question we must ask ourselves is, What happens when a family so tied to tradition decides to rewrite its own rules? And what does it mean for those who have been caught in its wake? In the coming sections, we will delve into the details of King Charles's decision, the implications of the title transfer for Lady Louise, and the emotional and public aftermath for Harry, Meghan, and the royal family at large. We'll explore the legalities behind royal titles, the role that Lady Louise will now assume, and the shifting dynamics within the monarchy that could redefine its future. But most importantly, we will ask, is this the end of an era for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, or merely a stepping stone toward something entirely new? The journey of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has been one of the most scrutinized and talked about stories in recent royal history. When the world first learned of their relationship, the union between the British royal and the American actress seemed almost too good to be true. It was the kind of fairy tale that captivated the imagination of millions, an outsider from a foreign land marrying into one of the most prestigious royal families in the world. The romantic storylines that followed their engagement, wedding, and the birth of their children, Archie and Lilibet, only added to the allure of their public image. But what began as a dreamlike tale quickly turned into one fraught with challenges, public disagreements, and deep division both within the royal family and the wider public. Prince Harry, the younger son of Prince Charles and Princess Diana, had always been a popular member of the royal family. Known for his down-to-earth attitude and charitable efforts, he seemed to be a figure of relatability, especially in contrast to his more reserved brother, Prince William. However, Harry had also been the subject of public scrutiny and was often portrayed in the press as the wild card of the royal family, someone who didn't quite fit the mold of what the British monarchy expected of its members. His rebellious streak, along with some high-profile scandals in his younger years, made him a polarizing figure. In 2016, when Harry met Meghan Markle, it seemed like a relationship that could offer both of them a fresh start. Meghan, an American actress best known for her role in the TV show Suits, was a completely new and unconventional addition to the royal fold. As an outspoken advocate for women's rights and racial equality, she quickly became a figure of great interest to the media. Her biracial background, her successful career, and her previous life as a working woman were all new and unfamiliar elements in the traditionally conservative and highly regulated world of British royalty. Despite their vastly different backgrounds, Harry and Meghan's relationship quickly blossomed, culminating in their engagement in November 2017. The royal family, along with the British public, seemed to embrace Meghan. Her wedding to Prince Harry in May 2018 was watched by millions around the globe, and many saw it as a modernizing moment for the monarchy. Meghan represented a new generation of royals, someone who could connect with a younger, more diverse audience. Her marriage to Harry seemed like the beginning of a new, exciting chapter for the royal family, filled with the promise of change and progress. However, things were not as they appeared on the surface. Beneath the royal wedding's glamour and worldwide celebration, there were growing tensions. Meghan, who had been thrust into the spotlight with little preparation or understanding of the monarchy's rigid expectations, struggled to navigate the complexities of royal life. She quickly became the target of intense media scrutiny, with tabloids reporting on everything from her fashion choices to her alleged conflicts with other members of the royal family. Meghan's background as a strong, independent woman made it difficult for her to fit into the reserved, obedient role that was traditionally expected of royal women. At the same time, Harry found himself increasingly at odds with his family and the royal institution. Having spent most of his life in the public eye, he was no stranger to criticism, but he was particularly protective of Meghan and their growing family. The couple began to feel suffocated by the relentless media attention and the public's judgment. Their desire for privacy, combined with their strong opinions about the royal family's relationship with the press, created friction between them and the rest of the royal family. In January 2020, the couple made the shocking announcement that they would step back from their royal duties, a decision that would eventually become known as Megxit. They stated that they wanted to carve out a new, independent role for themselves while still supporting the Queen and their royal duties in a more limited capacity. The move was met with a mixture of shock, disbelief, and criticism from both the public and the press. Many saw it as an unprecedented departure from royal tradition. Some praised their courage for seeking a life outside the constraints of royal obligations, while others condemned them for abandoning their duties and tarnishing the monarchy's reputation. The public fallout from their decision was swift. Prince Harry and Meghan faced an onslaught of media backlash, with many questioning their motivations and accusing them of being ungrateful. At the same time, their departure allowed them to live more freely, away from the relentless attention of the British press. They moved to Canada for a time before settling in California, where they began building their brand as activists and philanthropists. Meghan launched her own podcast, Archetypes, and the couple signed lucrative deals with companies like Netflix and Spotify to produce content. They sought to be more than just former royals. They wanted to be influential figures in the global conversation about social justice, mental health, and race. Their departure did not, however, come without consequences. They were stripped of their royal patronages and given up their official titles as working members of the royal family. The couple's relationship with the royal family became even more strained, especially after their explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021. In the interview, Meghan and Harry made several bombshell revelations, including allegations of racism within the royal family, concerns about the mental health of Meghan during her time in the UK, and the lack of support they received from their family members. The interview sent shockwaves through the British public and reignited debates about the monarchy's relevance in the modern age. Despite the controversy surrounding the interview, Harry and Meghan continued to push forward with their philanthropic efforts and public appearances. They continued to advocate for racial equality, women's rights, and mental health awareness, often using their platform to address societal issues. They also raised their two children, Archie and Lilibet, outside of the public spotlight as much as possible. However, the tension between them and the royal family remained palpable. In the years that followed, Harry and Meghan's royal status became more tenuous. While they were still recognized as Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the official royal titles that were once so significant to their identity as members of the royal family became less important in the face of their efforts to establish themselves as independent figures. Despite this, they remained connected to the royal family in various ways, with Harry occasionally attending royal events, such as the funeral of Prince Philip and the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. In recent months, as King Charles ascended the throne after the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, questions about the Sussex's future within the royal family were once again raised. The new monarch's approach to the couple's titles and public role remained unclear, and many wondered how the monarchy would adapt to the changing dynamics between Harry, Meghan, and the rest of the royal family. Then, in a stunning move, King Charles announced the decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor. This decision was not made lightly. It was the culmination of months, if not years, of discussions within the royal family about how to handle the evolving situation. And though the public may have been caught off guard, the legal implications of the transfer are significant. When King Charles ascended to the throne following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, many expected changes to the monarchy, some subtle, others far more drastic. King Charles had spent decades preparing for this moment, observing the challenges his mother faced during her reign and the evolving role of the royal family within the modern world. His long-standing desire to modernize and adjust the monarchy to better fit contemporary expectations became even more apparent after he became king. However, many wondered just how far King Charles would go in making these adjustments, particularly in regards to his children and their place within the royal structure. King Charles's reign began with an immediate shift in tone from his mother's. Queen Elizabeth had been a symbol of stability and continuity, maintaining the monarchy's traditional role as an impartial figurehead for the British public. She had worked tirelessly to avoid controversy and steer clear of engaging in any political matters. Her reign was marked by diplomacy, discretion, and quiet respect for tradition. In contrast, King Charles, who had long been outspoken on environmental issues, architecture, and social justice, has shown that he intends to govern with more visibility and a more progressive agenda. But it's the issue of titles, particularly those tied to family lineage, that has brought about the most intrigue during his early years on the throne. The royal family structure has traditionally been rigid and hierarchical, with the monarch at the top and various titles and duties passed down through bloodlines. For years, the titles given to royal children and their descendants were seen as fixed and unchangeable, a reflection of the status and importance of the monarchy. However, King Charles's decisions on how to handle the Sussex titles suggest a more flexible approach, one that could have lasting implications not just for Harry and Meghan, but for the monarchy as a whole. King Charles has always been a monarch who values tradition, but he also understands that the monarchy's survival relies on its ability to adapt. His own relationship with the monarchy has been complicated, particularly in light of his tumultuous relationship with his former wife, Princess Diana, and his ongoing public role as the heir apparent for so many years. As king, Charles has had to navigate the delicate balance between his desire to modernize the royal family and his obligation to uphold its long-standing traditions. His actions regarding the Sussex titles are a prime example of this balancing act. When Harry and Meghan made their decision to step back from royal duties, it was clear that a shift in their titles was inevitable. The Sussexes' status within the royal family was inextricably linked to their role as working members of the institution, and stepping away from their royal duties required a re-evaluation of their titles. For many, the transfer of the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor seemed like a natural step in this process, a way for the royal family to move forward while honoring the evolving circumstances of each family member. But what made this decision particularly striking was the involvement of King Charles himself, who not only sanctioned the transfer but also made it official. For some royal observers, King Charles's decision represents a subtle but significant break from the past. By taking matters into his own hands and officially transferring the Sussex title, Charles is sending a message that the monarchy is no longer bound by outdated traditions. The transfer is not just a technical change. It's a sign that the monarchy is willing to evolve to reflect the realities of the modern world. This is not the first time King Charles has taken a progressive stance on royal matters, but it is one of the most visible. However, this decision has not been without its critics. For those who view the royal family as an institution steeped in centuries of tradition, King Charles's decision to legalize the transfer of the Sussex title to Lady Louise may feel like a step too far. The monarchy has always prided itself on its continuity and stability, and altering the titles of family members in such a dramatic fashion could be seen as undermining that very tradition. For those who still believe in the concept of royal duty and responsibility, the idea that a title could be handed over so casually raises questions about what it means to be a royal in the 21st century. King Charles's decision to transfer the Sussex title also highlights the complicated relationship between the monarchy and the press. Throughout his reign, Charles has been subjected to intense media scrutiny, particularly regarding his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles and his role as a father to Prince William and Prince Harry. While Queen Elizabeth was known for her diplomatic handling of the press, King Charles has been more vocal in his criticism of the media and its role in shaping public opinion. His decision to alter the titles of Harry and Meghan could be seen as an attempt to regain control over how the monarchy is perceived, both by the public and the press. It's important to consider the broader context in which this decision was made. King Charles, who has always been deeply concerned with the environment, social justice, and sustainability, may have felt that the monarchy's traditional structure was no longer compatible with the needs of a modern Britain. In a world where public opinion is increasingly shaped by social media and the rapid dissemination of information, the monarchy's role as a figurehead has become more fluid. As a result, King Charles has had to think carefully about how to preserve the relevance of the royal family without alienating younger generations who may be skeptical of traditional institutions. The decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise is, in many ways, an act of reconciliation. It is a recognition of the shifting power dynamics within the royal family and a reflection of King Charles's desire to adapt to these changes. While it is true that Harry and Meghan's departure from royal duties caused a rift between them and the family, King Charles's decision to grant Lady Louise the Sussex title could be seen as a way to bring some closure to this chapter. It acknowledges that the Sussexes' departure has created a void within the royal family that must be filled, and Lady Louise, as a prominent royal figure with strong ties to the family, is seen as an appropriate candidate to take on this responsibility. King Charles's role in this decision also underscores his growing influence within the royal family. While Queen Elizabeth II was often seen as the final arbiter of royal matters, King Charles is demonstrating his willingness to make decisions that reflect his own values and priorities. His decision to approve the title transfer is not just a matter of royal protocol. It is a statement about how he sees the future of the monarchy and the importance of adapting to changing times. The fact that this decision was made so quickly after his ascension to the throne shows that King Charles is not afraid to make bold moves when it comes to the royal family's future. For Lady Louise, this change in her title marks a new chapter in her life. Having been relatively out of the spotlight for much of her young life, Lady Louise is now thrust into a more prominent role within the royal family. As a granddaughter of the Queen and the daughter of Prince Edward, she has always been considered part of the royal fold. However, with the transfer of the Sussex title, she is now in a position to carry out some of the duties that had once been assigned to Harry and Meghan. This could include attending royal events, representing the monarchy at various engagements, and potentially taking on additional responsibilities in the years to come. The announcement that King Charles had legalized the transfer of the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor sent shockwaves throughout the royal family, but perhaps no one felt the impact more deeply than Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Over the past few years, the couple has repeatedly expressed their desire to break free from the constraints of royal life and establish their own path. The decision to step back from their royal duties was, in many ways, a statement that they wanted control over their future, free from the royal family's traditional structures and the constant media scrutiny. But as the legal transfer of their title to Lady Louise unfolded, it became clear that their past was not so easily discarded. When Harry and Meghan first stepped away from royal duties in 2020, the couple was determined to retain their titles as Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They were adamant that while they would no longer carry out official royal engagements, they would still be involved in various charitable efforts and maintain their connection to the royal family. This decision was met with mixed reactions. Some were sympathetic to their desire for privacy and independence, while others viewed it as a betrayal of royal duty. Regardless of public opinion, Harry and Meghan's stance was clear. They wanted to live life on their terms, away from the strict expectations and constraints placed upon them as senior members of the royal family. As the couple made their transition to life outside the UK, they quickly became international figures. They moved to Canada and then to California, where they were able to pursue various business ventures, including deals with major media companies such as Netflix and Spotify. Their desire for privacy was often at odds with their public visibility, and their appearances, whether at royal events, philanthropic gatherings, or in media interviews, continued to be scrutinized. Through it all, Harry and Meghan were determined to carve out a new role for themselves that would allow them to have a meaningful impact on the world while distancing themselves from the royal family. Yet, even as they sought greater autonomy, their royal titles remained an integral part of their identity. Their titles as Duke and Duchess of Sussex were bestowed upon them by Queen Elizabeth II, and, as such, they carried significant weight in royal circles. Despite their desire for independence, Harry and Meghan were often seen as representing a modern, progressive version of the monarchy, a vision of what the future of the royal family could look like. But as King Charles made the decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor, it became clear that this vision of a modern monarchy was being challenged, and Harry and Meghan were caught in the crossfire. The decision to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal title was not something that happened overnight. Over the years, tensions had been building between the couple and the royal family, particularly over their outspoken views on media coverage, family dynamics, and royal protocol. While Harry and Meghan had sought greater privacy and autonomy, they were also trying to remain part of the royal family, albeit on their own terms. This balancing act proved to be difficult, and their relationship with the royal family became increasingly strained as their public statements, interviews, and personal projects continued to challenge traditional royal expectations. For Prince Harry, the decision to relinquish the Sussex title was especially painful. Harry had always been deeply attached to his royal identity, despite the challenges he faced growing up in the shadow of his older brother, Prince William. As the younger son of Princess Diana, Harry had long felt the pressure of living up to expectations, but he also felt a deep sense of responsibility to continue his mother's charitable work and legacy. When he married Meghan, he hoped that their combined efforts could have a transformative impact on the world. Together, they took on projects focused on mental health, climate change, racial equality, and other social causes. They envisioned a future in which they could use their platform to make real, lasting change, without being shackled by the constraints of royal duty. However, the Sussexes' decision to step away from their royal roles in 2020 and the subsequent media frenzy that followed created a wedge between them and the rest of the royal family. The couple's desire for privacy was at odds with the public's insatiable curiosity about their lives. They were regularly vilified in the press, with some tabloids painting them as hypocrites for seeking privacy while living lavishly and publicly. The criticism was compounded by their decision to speak out publicly about the toxic nature of the royal family and the media's treatment of them. These revelations, which came to a head during their bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021, further alienated them from the royal family and left the public divided. Harry and Meghan's decision to part ways with the royal family was deeply personal, but the legal transfer of their title to Lady Louise marked a new chapter in their journey, one that raised new questions about their place in the royal hierarchy. The couple had hoped to retain their titles, if only as a reminder of their ties to the royal family, but it became increasingly clear that King Charles was unwilling to allow this connection to persist in the way they had envisioned. The Sussexes' public statements following the announcement of the title transfer reflected a mix of disbelief, resignation, and disappointment. For Meghan, the decision was particularly challenging. As an American who had married into the royal family, she had always been an outsider. Her entrance into the royal fold was met with skepticism by some, and her background as a divorced, biracial actress further set her apart from the rest of the royal family. Meghan had always believed in the potential for change within the monarchy, and her marriage to Harry represented an opportunity to bridge the gap between tradition and progress. But over time, she became disillusioned with the constraints of royal life. Her desire to use her voice on important social issues was constantly at odds with the rigid expectations of the royal family, and she became a lightning rod for media scrutiny. As Harry and Meghan's relationship with the royal family deteriorated, their involvement in charitable efforts and public activism only seemed to increase. But the decision to legalize the transfer of the Sussex title was a stark reminder that, despite their efforts to reinvent themselves, they could never fully escape the royal family's reach. The title was an integral part of their public persona, and its loss was a symbol of the emotional and physical distance that had grown between them and the monarchy. The legalities of the title transfer also had significant implications for Harry and Meghan's future roles in the public eye. Without the Sussex title, they would no longer have the same level of visibility and influence within the royal fold. Their role as former royals, once seen as a powerful tool for effecting change, would now be diminished, forcing them to reconsider how they could continue their philanthropic work without the royal imprimatur. In the aftermath of King Charles's decision, Harry and Meghan were left to reflect on what this meant for their future. While they had always sought to build a life outside the royal family, the loss of the title brought a sense of finality to their separation. They could no longer claim to represent the royal family, even in an unofficial capacity, and the public would no longer view them through the lens of royalty. The question now was, could they continue to build the legacy they had envisioned without the title that had once anchored them to their royal origins? Lady Louise Windsor, the daughter of Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, has always remained somewhat in the background compared to her more high-profile cousins. While the younger members of the royal family, such as Prince William, Prince Harry, and even Princess Eugenie and Beatrice, have taken center stage in the public eye, Lady Louise has largely stayed away from the spotlight. Raised with a sense of privacy and given a more grounded upbringing, Louise has enjoyed a relatively quiet royal life. However, with the recent decision by King Charles to transfer the Sussex title to her, Lady Louise finds herself stepping into a more prominent role within the monarchy. This shift in her position could signal the beginning of a new chapter for the young royal and bring with it responsibilities she has not yet publicly embraced. Born in 2003, Lady Louise is the eldest child of Prince Edward, the Queen's youngest son, and Sophie, Countess of Wessex. The Wessexes have long been seen as hard-working royals, with Prince Edward and Sophie maintaining a relatively low profile but consistent presence in royal engagements. Unlike some of their more flamboyant counterparts, they have avoided the public scandals that have sometimes plagued other members of the family. Their approach to royal duty has been pragmatic and focused, with an emphasis on charity work and maintaining a discreet, dignified public image. Lady Louise, who has been raised with these values, has generally followed her parents' lead by keeping a low profile. Unlike her cousins, she has not appeared as frequently in the media or at major royal events, and this has allowed her to develop an independent and relatively private life. Lady Louise's relative obscurity within the royal family is partly due to her upbringing. Unlike Prince William and Prince Harry, who were groomed for more public roles from a young age, Louise was allowed to live more freely, away from the constant attention that often accompanies royal status. This low-key upbringing allowed her to develop her own interests, including her love for horses and competitive carriage driving, a sport in which she has excelled. Throughout her early years, Louise showed a keen intelligence and a calm demeanor, which endeared her to the public and to those within the royal family. She has largely avoided controversy, and her quiet, graceful presence has earned her a reputation as a poised and dignified young woman. However, with the title transfer now confirmed, Lady Louise finds herself on the cusp of a major shift in her royal role. The Sussex title, previously held by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, was a symbol of their connection to the royal family and their place within it. With the official legalization of the title transfer, Louise has become the new bearer of that title, a significant responsibility that could lead to an expanded public profile and greater involvement in royal affairs. While Lady Louise has always been seen as a respected member of the royal family, this change in her title may signify a new phase in her royal journey. The transfer of the Sussex title to Lady Louise is notable for several reasons. First, it reflects King Charles's recognition of the evolving dynamics within the royal family. While Harry and Meghan's departure from royal duties has created a void, Lady Louise is seen as a fitting candidate to fill this gap. Her strong ties to the family, her solid reputation, and her relatively stable position within the monarchy make her an ideal choice to take on this responsibility. Unlike her cousins, who have been embroiled in public controversies and family disputes, Lady Louise is seen as someone who can represent the royal family with dignity and professionalism. Her selection as the new bearer of the Sussex title signals King Charles's desire to move forward while maintaining a sense of continuity and stability within the family. With this new role comes greater expectations. Lady Louise is now poised to take on a more active role in the royal family's charitable work, public engagements, and official duties. While she has previously attended royal events and supported various causes, this title transfer could lead to a more prominent presence at royal functions. She may find herself representing the monarchy on more occasions, attending state functions, and participating in public initiatives. It is also possible that Lady Louise will be given additional patronages or responsibilities, much like other senior royals. Despite her relatively low profile, Lady Louise is seen as a royal who can connect with the public. Her grounded upbringing and commitment to charity work have earned her respect, and her new title could enhance her ability to engage with the public on a deeper level. Whether through supporting causes close to her heart or taking on new roles within the royal family, Lady Louise is likely to become an increasingly visible figure in the coming years. For those who have followed her quietly rising star, this shift represents an exciting opportunity to see her grow into a more prominent role. However, stepping into this new role will not come without challenges. Lady Louise's newfound prominence could put her in the spotlight in ways that she has not experienced before. While she has managed to maintain a relatively private life, the pressures of being thrust into the public eye as the new holder of the Sussex title will inevitably come with scrutiny. Lady Louise has managed to stay out of the headlines for much of her life, but now, with the weight of the Sussex title upon her shoulders, she will have to navigate the delicate balance between fulfilling royal duties and maintaining her sense of privacy. The dynamics within the royal family will also play a significant role in how Lady Louise adapts to her new title. As the daughter of Prince Edward and Sophie, she is part of the younger generation of royals, one that has a somewhat different approach to the institution than their older counterparts. While Prince William and Prince Harry have been shaped by the traditions of the royal family, the Wessexes have been somewhat more progressive in their approach, focusing on charitable endeavors and taking on more personal initiatives. Lady Louise's role as the new bearer of the Sussex title could signal a new direction for the royal family as it seeks to modernize and appeal to a younger, more diverse audience. In many ways, Lady Louise represents a new generation of royals who are poised to take on more responsibility within the family. As the monarchy continues to evolve, her title transfer could be seen as a sign of things to come. Whether or not Lady Louise embraces this expanded role remains to be seen, but the fact that King Charles has chosen her to inherit the Sussex title is a significant moment in the history of the royal family. The decision underscores the changing nature of the monarchy, and Lady Louise's role in this transition will likely define her place within the royal family for years to come. The legality of royal titles is a complex issue that has often been the subject of debate and scrutiny. Titles within the British royal family are not just symbolic. They are legal entities, subject to laws and regulations that have been developed over centuries. The decision to transfer a title like that of the Sussexes to another member of the royal family is far more than a ceremonial gesture. It has legal ramifications that affect the structure and dynamics of the royal family itself. To fully understand the implications of King Charles's decision to legalize the transfer of the Sussex title to Lady Louise, it's important to delve into the legal processes and historical precedents that govern title transfers in the British monarchy. Royal titles, such as Duke, Duchess, and Prince, are often passed down through inheritance, either by birthright or by a formal decision made by the reigning monarch. In the case of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex were granted to them by Queen Elizabeth II on the occasion of their marriage in 2018. These titles were tied to their royal status and were intended to reflect their position within the family as senior members of the monarchy. However, titles are not automatically guaranteed for life, especially in cases where family members step away from their royal duties or engage in behavior that may conflict with the family's core values. One of the most important factors that affect royal titles is the reigning monarch's authority. The British monarchy is an institution that is based on tradition and precedent, but it is also shaped by the decisions made by the monarch at any given time. In this case, King Charles, as the head of the royal family, has the legal right to make decisions regarding the titles of family members. While this authority is not exercised frequently, it is understood that the monarch has the final say when it comes to matters of royal titles and their distribution. This power is enshrined in constitutional law, which dictates that the monarch has ultimate control over royal titles, including who holds them and how they are passed down. The transfer of titles in the British royal family is not an everyday occurrence, but it has happened before, especially when circumstances change. For example, in the case of Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, there was significant speculation about whether his title would be revoked or altered following the scandal involving his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Although his title was not removed, the incident highlighted the role of the monarch in determining who should retain their royal titles and who should not. The Sussexes' situation is different, but it raises similar questions about the importance of royal titles and the discretion of the monarch in regulating them. King Charles's decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor is unprecedented in its specifics, but it is not entirely without precedent in the broader context of royal titles. One notable example is the decision to strip Prince Harry of his military titles and patronages following his departure from royal duties. This decision, which was made after consultations within the royal family, was a clear indication that the monarchy was willing to make changes to its traditional structures in response to evolving circumstances. The transfer of the Sussex title to Lady Louise is another example of the monarchy adjusting its titles and roles in response to the changing dynamics within the royal family. The legal process behind the transfer of royal titles is often clouded in mystery, as many of these decisions are made behind closed doors. However, it is clear that King Charles's decision to grant the Sussex title to Lady Louise was not made lightly. It required careful consideration of legal, constitutional, and emotional factors. For one, the Sussex title is not just an arbitrary designation. It is a title that is tied to a specific lineage and set of responsibilities. By transferring it to Lady Louise, King Charles is signaling a shift in how the monarchy will function going forward, one that recognizes the changing nature of royal duties and the need for flexibility in the family's internal structure. To understand the implications of this title transfer, it's essential to consider the historical context of title changes within the royal family. In the past, the transfer of titles often took place through direct inheritance or marriage. The title of Duke of Sussex, for example, has been in existence since the early 19th century and has been passed down through various generations. However, the notion of a title being transferred from one family member to another, especially in the absence of a direct bloodline connection, is a more recent development. This shift is indicative of the changing role of titles in the modern monarchy and the growing influence of individual choice over traditional inheritance. The legal intricacies behind title transfers are not just a matter of personal preference for the monarch. In the case of the Sussex title, there were likely a number of legal and constitutional considerations that had to be taken into account. For one, titles in the royal family are not simply bestowed on a whim. They are tied to the family's royal estate, which is governed by a complex system of trusts and inheritance laws. These laws dictate how royal titles are passed down and how they can be reallocated. In the case of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, their decision to step away from royal duties triggered a re-evaluation of their roles within the monarchy, which included their royal titles. King Charles's decision to transfer the title to Lady Louise reflects the monarchy's ability to adapt to the changing times while maintaining a sense of continuity with its traditions. The legalities behind royal title transfers also highlight the delicate balance between tradition and modernization within the monarchy. While the institution is steeped in centuries of history, it has been forced to adapt to the realities of contemporary life. This is especially true when it comes to the role of women in the royal family. For much of British royal history, titles were passed down through male heirs, with female members of the family often excluded from the line of succession. However, in recent years, there has been a shift toward greater gender equality, and women like Lady Louise have been given greater opportunities to inherit titles and participate in royal duties. The transfer of the Sussex title to Lady Louise can be seen as part of this broader effort to modernize the monarchy and make it more inclusive. While the legal process behind royal title transfers may seem straightforward, it is deeply intertwined with the emotional and symbolic aspects of the monarchy. Titles are not just labels. They represent the history, status, and expectations of those who hold them. When Harry and Meghan received the Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles, it was a public recognition of their role within the royal family. Similarly, the decision to transfer these titles to Lady Louise is a public acknowledgement of her growing importance within the family. It is a powerful reminder that titles in the royal family are not just ceremonial. They are deeply embedded in the monarchy structure and its evolving identity. The decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor has not only had a profound impact on the royal family, but has also sparked widespread public debate and media coverage. As with any significant shift within the monarchy, the announcement has led to a flurry of reactions from the British public, royal watchers, and the media alike. In particular, the media's portrayal of this change has been crucial in shaping public opinion and influencing how the monarchy's actions are perceived. Public reactions have been mixed, with some expressing support for King Charles's decision and others questioning the motivations behind the title transfer. This section will explore the different facets of public opinion and the media coverage surrounding the Sussex title transfer. One of the primary factors contributing to the public's reaction is the long-standing fascination with the British royal family. Over the years, the royals have been the subject of intense media scrutiny, with every move they make closely monitored and dissected by both the press and the public. The Sussexes, in particular, have been under a microscope ever since their relationship with the royal family became strained. Their decision to step back from royal duties in 2020 and their subsequent media appearances, including their interview with Oprah Winfrey, have fueled widespread interest in their personal lives and their relationship with the monarchy. The announcement of the title transfer has only intensified this public fascination. For some members of the public, the title transfer is seen as a natural progression of events. Since Harry and Meghan stepped away from their royal duties, many felt that it was only a matter of time before their titles would be reassigned or altered. After all, the couple no longer fulfilled the roles or responsibilities that were typically associated with their titles. The Sussex title was originally bestowed upon Harry and Meghan as a mark of their official standing within the royal family, but as they distanced themselves from the institution, the public began to question whether they should retain such a prestigious title. To many, King Charles's decision to transfer the title to Lady Louise is simply a reflection of the changing dynamics within the royal family, and they view it as an attempt to restore stability and tradition. On the other hand, there are those who see the transfer as a contentious move that reflects a deeper divide between Harry and Meghan and the rest of the royal family. Some critics argue that the decision to remove the title from the Sussexes and hand it to Lady Louise is an attempt to undermine their position and strip them of their identity as members of the royal family. These critics believe that Harry and Meghan's departure from the royal fold was already a significant loss, and the title transfer adds insult to injury. For those who support the Sussexes, this decision is seen as another way for the royal family to distance themselves from the couple and erase their contributions to the monarchy. This view is particularly strong among supporters of Harry and Meghan, who see them as victims of the royal family's rigid structure and their unrelenting treatment by the media. The role of the media in shaping public opinion is undeniable. The British press, in particular, has long had a fraught relationship with the royal family, and this relationship has been especially complicated in the case of Harry and Meghan. From the outset of their relationship, the media's coverage of the couple was overwhelmingly negative, with sensationalized headlines and invasive reporting on their personal lives. The press's treatment of Meghan, in particular, has been a point of contention, with accusations of racism, sexism, and unfair targeting. Harry and Meghan's decision to speak out against the media's behavior, particularly in their interview with Oprah Winfrey, led to even more heated exchanges between the couple and the press. Many believe that their departure from royal duties was, in part, a direct response to the media's relentless scrutiny. In the wake of the title transfer announcement, the media's portrayal of the decision has been varied. Some outlets have praised King Charles's decision, framing it as a necessary step in maintaining the integrity and structure of the monarchy. These outlets argue that the royal family must move forward and adapt to the changing times, and transferring the Sussex title to Lady Louise is part of this process. The decision is often presented as a way for King Charles to assert his authority and move the monarchy in a direction that aligns with his vision for the future. This perspective is often accompanied by positive portrayals of Lady Louise and her potential to fulfill the responsibilities that were once assigned to Harry and Meghan. Other media outlets have taken a more critical stance, questioning the timing and motivation behind the decision. Some have speculated that the transfer of the title was a strategic move by King Charles to weaken Harry and Meghan's position within the royal family. The decision is sometimes framed as an effort to erase any lingering ties between the Sussexes and the monarchy, a symbolic act of severing their connection to the royal family. This perspective is often fueled by the ongoing tensions between Harry and his family, which were brought to light in their media appearances and public statements. For those who sympathize with the Sussexes, the transfer of the title is seen as an unnecessary step that serves only to deepen the rift between Harry and Meghan and the royal family. Public opinion surrounding the title transfer is also influenced by the broader context of the monarchy's relationship with the public. In recent years, the royal family has faced increasing pressure to modernize and address issues such as transparency, inclusivity, and accountability. The title transfer, while seemingly a minor change, has become part of the larger conversation about the monarchy's future and its relevance in contemporary society. Some view the transfer as a reflection of King Charles's desire to move the monarchy in a more progressive direction, one that acknowledges the changing role of the royal family and the need to adapt to the times. Others see it as a sign that the monarchy is struggling to maintain its traditional structures and is unwilling to accommodate the evolving expectations of the public. The media's portrayal of Lady Louise's role in the transfer is also significant. As the new holder of the Sussex title, Louise is now positioned to play a more prominent role in the royal family. While she has largely stayed out of the spotlight in the past, the title transfer could pave the way for her to take on more royal duties and public engagements. The media has largely framed her as a dignified and competent royal who can step into the responsibilities that were once held by Harry and Meghan. Her relatively low-profile upbringing has led to a sense of respect for her calm demeanor and ability to stay out of the limelight, but this new role could thrust her into the public eye in ways that she has not experienced before. The media's portrayal of Louise as a more traditional and steady figure could be seen as an attempt to contrast her with the more controversial figures of Harry and Meghan, who have been seen as disruptive forces within the royal family. In addition to public opinion and media coverage, the title transfer has also sparked wider conversations about the monarchy's role in society. As the British royal family continues to navigate the challenges of modernity, the decision to move the Sussex title to Lady Louise represents a significant moment in its evolution. For some, it is a necessary step toward ensuring the monarchy's continued relevance, while for others, it raises uncomfortable questions about the future of an institution that has long been tied to the British establishment. The decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor is not just a symbolic gesture. It carries profound implications for the future of the British monarchy. King Charles's decision to legally formalize the title transfer is part of a larger strategy to navigate the challenges and complexities of modern monarchy. As the royal family faces increasing public scrutiny, shifting societal expectations, and internal family tensions, The monarchy's ability to adapt to these changes will determine its continued relevance. This section will explore the long-term effects of King Charles's decision and how it could reshape the royal family's future. One of the most immediate and obvious impacts of the title transfer is the role that Lady Louise will play in the royal family moving forward. While she has traditionally been a relatively low-profile figure within the royal fold, this new development puts her in the public eye. As the new holder of the Sussex title, Lady Louise is poised to take on more responsibility within the royal family. While she has been seen at royal engagements and has participated in charity work in the past, she is now in a position to represent the monarchy on a more regular basis. The decision to grant her the Sussex title could signal a larger role for her in the years to come, as she steps into the shoes of the Sussexes and takes on the duties that were once associated with their position. In many ways, Lady Louise's rise to prominence reflects the changing dynamics of the royal family. The younger generation of royals, including Lady Louise, Prince William, and Princess Beatrice, are increasingly being asked to step up and take on more responsibilities as the older generation of royals begins to slow down. The monarchy is undergoing a gradual but noticeable shift in its structure as King Charles looks to modernize the family while preserving its long-standing traditions. Lady Louise, with her calm demeanor, work ethic, and relatively low-profile upbringing, represents a more stable and traditional face of the monarchy, in contrast to the more controversial figures such as Harry and Meghan. King Charles's decision also reflects his broader vision for the monarchy's future. Unlike his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, who was known for her quiet diplomacy and emphasis on continuity, King Charles has made it clear that he plans to modernize the institution to better reflect the changing world. His reign has already seen significant shifts in the royal family's approach to public relations, and this latest move could be seen as part of a broader effort to adapt to contemporary values. By transferring the Sussex title to Lady Louise, Charles is signaling that the monarchy must evolve to remain relevant in the 21st century. This may involve rethinking the roles of certain family members, adjusting the royal duties to fit the modern world, and addressing the growing calls for transparency and accountability. However, this decision could also signal the end of an era for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The Sussexes were once seen as the future of the monarchy, representing a new generation of royals who could engage with a younger, more diverse audience. Harry's decision to marry Meghan Markle, an American actress of biracial descent, was seen as a progressive step for the royal family, and the couple quickly became global celebrities. Their decision to step back from royal duties, however, placed them at odds with the monarchy and led to a public rift. Their subsequent media appearances, including the bombshell Oprah Winfrey interview, only deepened the divide between them and the rest of the royal family. Now, with the Sussex title being transferred to Lady Louise, it appears that the future of the royal family no longer includes Harry and Meghan in the same way it once did. This could be seen as the final severing of ties between the couple and the monarchy. While Harry and Meghan may continue to perform charity work and maintain their status as former royals, they will no longer hold the same formal position within the royal family. The decision to remove the Sussex title is, in many ways, a symbolic end to the couple's royal journey and a reflection of the ongoing tension between them and the rest of the family. This marks a turning point in their relationship with the monarchy, and the long-term impact of this decision remains to be seen. For King Charles, the decision to transfer the title is also a reflection of his growing power and influence within the royal family. Throughout his life, Charles has been seen as a figure who has had to wait in the wings, waiting for the moment when he would finally become king. Now that he is on the throne, he has the authority to make decisions that shape the monarchy's future. The decision to transfer the Sussex title is a clear example of his desire to move the monarchy in a new direction, one that reflects his own values and vision for the institution. By taking action on this issue, King Charles is asserting his authority as monarch and signaling that the monarchy must adapt to survive. While Lady Louise's rise to prominence is one aspect of the future of the monarchy, another key factor is the ongoing relationship between the royal family and the public. In recent years, the monarchy has faced increasing public scrutiny, especially with the rise of social media and the 24-hour news cycle. The royal family is no longer seen as an unapproachable institution. It is now a subject of constant public debate. As a result, the monarchy must find ways to remain relevant and maintain the support of the British people. King Charles's decision to transfer the Sussex title is part of a broader effort to reposition the royal family in the eyes of the public. This effort is particularly important as the monarchy faces growing calls for reform. Critics of the royal family argue that the institution is outdated and out of touch with modern values. Calls for the abolition of the monarchy have gained traction in some quarters, and many see the royal family as an increasingly irrelevant relic of the past. For King Charles, this presents a challenge. How does the monarchy remain relevant in a rapidly changing world? By transferring the Sussex title to Lady Louise, he is attempting to modernize the monarchy without losing the traditions and history that have sustained it for centuries. The future of the monarchy depends on its ability to balance tradition with progress, and this decision is part of that larger strategy. Additionally, the title transfer could have long-term implications for how other members of the royal family are viewed. The shift in focus toward Lady Louise, who has been relatively low profile in the past, may lead to increased public interest in other younger royals. As the monarchy moves forward into a new era, the roles of family members like Lady Louise, Prince William, and Princess Beatrice may become more prominent. The title transfer is an indication that the royal family is looking to its younger members to help carry the mantle and ensure the monarchy remains a respected institution in the years to come. As the public's relationship with the royal family continues to evolve, the monarchy's future will be shaped by the decisions made today. King Charles's decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor is a significant step in this ongoing process. While it marks the end of an era for Harry and Meghan, it also signals the beginning of a new chapter for the royal family. Lady Louise's increased prominence and the evolving roles of other younger royals will help define what the monarchy looks like in the years to come. King Charles's decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise Windsor is not just a change within the royal family. It has broad-reaching implications that extend far beyond the UK and even Europe. The monarchy, as one of the oldest and most well-known institutions in the world, carries significant weight on the global stage. Any shift in its structure, particularly one as significant as the transfer of a royal title, is sure to attract attention from across the globe. This section will explore the international ramifications of King Charles's decision, including how the royal family's actions are perceived abroad, how this may impact the monarchy's global standing, and what this decision means for the future of British influence in the world. For many, the British royal family represents the traditional values of leadership, duty, and service. The Queen, in particular, was seen as a figurehead not just for the UK, but for the Commonwealth and the wider world. Under her reign, the monarchy symbolized stability and continuity, even through periods of significant social, political, and economic change. Her death and the ascension of King Charles have marked a dramatic shift in how the monarchy is viewed, both domestically and internationally. King Charles has made it clear that he intends to modernize the monarchy, and his decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise is just one of many moves aimed at adjusting the monarchy to better fit the 21st century. The transfer of the Sussex title, however, goes beyond King Charles's vision for a modern monarchy. It is also a reflection of the global pressures that the royal family is under. In recent years, there has been increasing scrutiny of the British monarchy's relevance and its role in contemporary society. Many younger people, particularly in the UK and other Commonwealth nations, question the need for such an institution in a modern democratic world. These concerns are compounded by growing criticism of the monarchy's colonial history and the way it has historically exerted power over nations across the globe. As the world continues to change, the royal family's ability to adapt to new realities will determine its future influence. King Charles's decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise could be seen as an attempt to address these concerns by signaling that the monarchy is willing to evolve and adapt. By shifting the focus to Lady Louise, a younger, more traditional royal figure, King Charles is attempting to present the monarchy as relevant and grounded in the present day. This shift is important not just for the UK, but for the Commonwealth and countries like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, where the British monarchy still holds a significant, albeit symbolic, role. In these countries, the British royal family is often seen as a symbol of historical ties to Britain, and the monarchy's actions can have an impact on these relationships. In the United States, where Harry and Meghan's move to California has generated significant interest, the transfer of the Sussex title will also be closely watched. The Sussexes have cultivated a large international following, particularly among American audiences, who have embraced them as figures who challenge traditional royal norms. Meghan Markle, an American actress who married into the British royal family, has become a beacon for those seeking change in the royal institution, and her public stance on issues like racial inequality, women's rights, and mental health has resonated with many people. The announcement that the Sussex title is being transferred to Lady Louise signals a clear break between Harry and Meghan and the royal family, which could alter their relationship with their American supporters. For many Americans, the Sussexes have come to represent a modern, progressive vision of the monarchy. The legal transfer of their title to another family member may be seen as a betrayal of the couple's message and a step backward for the monarchy in the eyes of their supporters. The global implications of this title transfer go beyond just the Sussexes and their supporters. In many ways, it represents a larger discussion about the role of monarchy in the modern world. As many nations have shifted toward more egalitarian and democratic systems, the concept of monarchy has become increasingly irrelevant to younger generations. In countries like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, the royal family is often viewed as an outdated institution that no longer serves a practical purpose. In these nations, there have been growing calls for the abolition of the monarchy and the establishment of a republic. King Charles's decision to transfer the Sussex title to Lady Louise could be interpreted as a response to these calls, an attempt to show that the monarchy is still relevant and evolving, even as its traditional role continues to be questioned. While the British monarchy has long held symbolic power, its global influence has waned over time. The days of British imperialism are far behind, and many former colonies have moved toward independence and self-determination. As a result, the royal family's influence outside of the UK has diminished significantly. In many parts of the world, the monarchy is seen as an institution of privilege and power, often disconnected from the realities of everyday life. King Charles's move to transfer the Sussex title could be viewed as a calculated effort to restore the monarchy's relevance, not just in the UK, but also abroad. By shifting the focus to younger royals like Lady Louise, Charles is attempting to position the monarchy as an institution that is willing to evolve with the times, while still holding onto its centuries-old traditions. This transfer also has significant implications for the broader perception of the British royal family in other monarchies around the world. Royal families in countries like Spain, Sweden, and the Netherlands have all faced their own challenges in maintaining relevance in the modern world. Much like the British royal family, they have had to navigate issues of public opinion, media scrutiny, and internal family dynamics. King Charles's decision to transfer the Sussex title could serve as a model for other monarchies facing similar challenges. It is a reminder that the royal family is not a static institution, but one that must adapt and change to survive. The royal family's relationship with the media has also been a major factor in how it is perceived on the global stage. The press has played a crucial role in shaping public opinion about the monarchy, particularly when it comes to members like Harry and Meghan.